Hi, I'm Sam Scott, the CMA's Director of Strategy, and my fabulous team has been working hard on the annual report and accounts. And I'm joined by our chair, Doug Gurr. Doug, how would you sum up the year?
Hi Sam, thank you very much. I think it's been a defining year for the CMA. We obviously set out this year our strategy from 2026 to 2029, and that's a strategy about how do we make sure that the CMA has the biggest possible impact in what's a pretty challenging, global economic environment. And when we did this, when we started, I've always said consistently, we want to see the UK regulatory regime as a national asset. And we laid out, I think, 3 commitments. First of all, that we would focus on the areas that matter most. Secondly, that we would improve the way we work to reduce the burdens on business. And finally, that we would measure. We would make sure that we were clear about what we were doing and how we report transparency on it. And when I look across that, I think it's been a phenomenal year. And it's been a phenomenal year because we focused the team on the areas that really matter to the outcomes. And those 2 outcomes we focus on, remember, are supporting economic growth and driving household prosperity.
Those 2, growth and household prosperity, are clearly 2 interconnected goals that are central to the CMA's work, Doug. How is that translated day to day?
So it's all about what have we actually done. And across the last year, we've delivered across a broad portfolio of activities that support those 2 goals. We are not just enforcing, we are enabling competition. We're applying insight, microeconomic analysis that can help deliver economic growth through both advice to governments and where we can use competition to really unblock it. And that's about supporting UK scale-ups. It's about enabling innovation. It's about improving the way we do public procurement. And it's about better, clearer regulation. And then on the household prosperity side, we've done a lot. We have secured commitments from Ticketmaster to make sure that whenever fans are buying a ticket, they can see clearer upfront pricing and better information about what they're buying. We've applied £4.2 million of fines to the ANBSM, and we've secured redress for over 80,000 learner drivers. To be super clear, after we'd identified hidden booking fees, that is our first enforcement under the new consumer rules. On fake reviews, over 90% of businesses have changed their behaviour simply after receiving advisory letters. We want to help the businesses to do the right thing and to do it well. And on vet services, one of our largest and most important market investigations, one of the largest studies of its kind, we've improved the transparency of pricing, we've applied caps to prescription fees. So across those 2 areas, a lot of really high impact work that's going to support economic growth and drive household prosperity.
What about measuring our performance as an organisation? Doug, not always easy. Can you tell us more about the framework for measuring our performance?
So look, I love measurement, as you know, and we've really made a step change in how we're doing it, about improving both how we measure it and the transparency of what we do it. We now have a suite of over 40 metrics, but across 3 really important areas. First of all, impact. What is the direct benefits to consumers, the financial benefit of the work we do? Speed and efficiency. Are we applying those 4 Ps principles to make sure that we do things in a way that really works for all of our stakeholders? And finally, that stakeholder perceptions. What are we actually hearing back from our business customers, from our consumers, that tells us we're doing a good job? For every single pound spent by the CMA last year, we delivered £25 of direct economic benefit to the economy. We actually applied and just secured over £78 million of fines. Where the rules are clear, if you stay within the rules, you're fine. But actually where rules are not followed, we do need to enforce. And £78 million of benefits come back from that. 100% delivery to a whole set of stretching new targets and commitments around the mergers regime. Are we acting in the way in which we said we do? Are we moving through things to commitment? And finally, more than 8 out of 10 stakeholders are telling us that actually they're having a positive experience of engaging with the CMA.
So thinking now about impact and the 4 Ps work, Doug, that's been a really big part of the CMA's evolution over the last year or so. Tell us a bit more about that, the impact of that as a programme, the changes you see.
Yeah, so the 4 Ps are a really important and quite radical transformation. They're about not just what we do, but how we do it. The 4 Ps, pace, predictability, proportionality, process. So of course it's about making sure that we speed up what we're doing, not just what decisions did you reach, but did you get there faster? We know that every day counts, we know that every day costs, so we try and do our work quickly. But beyond that, it's about conducting reviews in lines with our mergers charter. It's about setting out clearly what we expect from businesses and advisors. And it's about setting out equally clearly what they can expect from us and when. So really clear process, really clear engagement. And it's all designed to make sure those processes run as smoothly as they possibly can. We also know The businesses are time poor. How do we simplify our guidance? How do we simplify our advice? How do we make sure that we focus on things that can really work and aren't a burden on businesses? How do we take that down as much as we possibly can? We've also launched a strategic review of over 33 market remedies to ask ourselves the questions, are they continuing to deliver real impact? And if they no longer are, we will take them away.
And looking ahead, Doug, what are your priorities for the year that's coming?
Well, look, as you know, we published, as I mentioned earlier, the strategy from 26 to 29. And then each year what we do is we look hard and we come up with an implementation plan. We consult on that plan to make sure that year on year we're delivering the things within that strategy that matter most. So I can't give you a blow by blow because we are doing the work right now. But what I can assure you is that we will be going through and looking really hard and saying across all the areas of our work, what are the things that are going to have the highest possible impact? Where do we deploy our resources so that as we develop the plan, if you like, year 2 of the 26 to 29 strategy, we make sure we focus on those areas that are going to have the biggest impact. And crucially, we use those tools we have, competition and consumer protection, to focus on the areas that will have the biggest possible impact on supporting economic growth and improving household prosperity. It's going to be a good year.